Ah, the French. Ah, the French.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. Let me turn down the music. I am rusty at this. Anyway, good to see you all. Good to see you, Catholic Brit. Good to see you, Bad Rux. Good to see you, Brayard. Good to see you, K-Max. Good to see you, Mel. Good to see you, Sir Bacon. Thank you, Mel, for the 100 bits and for the resub. Thank you for the gifted sub to Brit. Yeah, I had a very nice break. But it's good to see you all. And Brit, congratulations. You've won the Crown of Firstendom this day. The Crown of Returning! Crown of Resurrection. How fitting for the first Crown of Easter. Anyway. Who's hungry? Okay, so new rule. It's back. It's back. Candy Wheel's back, but it's limited to 3 a stream. Look, I'm getting older, and there's only so much sugar I can handle. So, anyway. And speaking of which, there it is from Brayherd. Thank you, Brayherd. It's a palate cleanser after the food I've been eating, I guess. And there's one from Beer Fox. Father Evan is like 40 now. Well, yes. When you round, yes. Shut up. But yes. Also, sorry for starting late today. My boss and Bad Roxy. There's the third candy spin. Okay, so now I don't have to figure any more. I toss all my points out of the points hole. What could be in the points hole? We'll still never find out. Ah. 2 Twitch streams and a VR chat. Bet you could do more. Anyway, sorry for being a little late. My boss came in because he wanted to talk to me about my trip and how it was. For those who don't know, because I kept it fairly secret, I was on a cruise for Easter. I was the chaplain on a cruise during Easter, a Cunard voyage on the Queen Elizabeth. We sailed to the Eastern Caribbean. It was a lovely time. I ate well. I rested well. You might be able to tell that I got some color. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little washed out from that light. But yeah, it was good. All right, let's get this over with. Hey, Craig. Good to see you. Candy spin 1! A cardamom pastille. Candy spin 2! Enchilocas. Okay. Oh, consarn it. Okay, so cardamom pastille. Enchiloca. These have like dried in their packaging. Spins are limited third person gets select candy. No. And Fall Festival candy corn. This is interesting. This is like 3 very distinct textures. Want to make sure I get an appropriate panoply of these flavors. Part of my brain is thinking, oh boy, candy, and I just want to tell that part of my brain to shut up. This is a pretty good Friday. Yes, well, Christos Anesti to you. Okay, I'm going to do this kind of strategically in that I'm going to start with the... There is no strategic way. I'm just going to start with the cardamom pastille, pop the candy corn in my mouth, and then we'll work on the enchilocas. It tastes like cardamom. I'm not sure if that's a piece of candy or a piece of tooth. This was a mistake. How could I have brought this on myself? It's like spicy and sweet and sour and floral and earthy. And none of it is working. Let's go to Minecraft. Anyway, we built this cathedral last time. A father joke. Don't get right on that. Oh no, some of the hard parts of the Bastille are hiding in the gumminess of the rest of the candy. You're bullying your clergy. Well, I bring it on myself. I'm the one who started it, since I bought the original candy corns. Waha. Okay. Father joke. Did you know that Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, Jack Frost, etc., all those great holiday mythical characters, they have a support group? It's for days they don't believe in themselves. Oh, the longest Johns. Hoist up the thing. I forget down the what's it. No, I know the longest Johns. They are quite fun. Okay, so I did not come into Minecraft today with a plan. We have options. Yes, hoist up the thing, batten down the what's it. It's not called Mine Plan. Well, I don't have a plan, so I don't have Mine Plan. Anyway, here are the options. We could work on making chandeliers for the church. It's a worship band called the Fastest Johns. Oh, John the Baptist. Oh, John Divine. John saw that number. Or we could start working on something else entirely. So we could work on chandeliers to light up the upper part of the church, or we could start a new building. Things we could build. A Poké Center. I don't actually have a Poké Center. I'm trying to think what we would... So we have the gym, my house, a library, a church. What other sort of public buildings do we want? You know, it was weird. I didn't really think that much about Minecraft on my 2-week time away. I guess you could say I blocked it from my mind. Could also work on there's a particular herb I need to make a revive, which I need to make a poke healing. I sure hope you accept it. I made that intentionally. I didn't even did the Madame Tish sound effect. Is this a shiny Ponyta, or is this like an Alolan Ponyta? Also, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go get some coal and make some torches, and we're gonna light up this space in here so Enderman can stop ruining the hillside. Oh, you think you can just be funny for free? I never said I was funny. At no point in time did I ever say I was funny. Funny as a stretch? I don't have a stretch command. I think that's everywhere they've kind of... Why are there so many of you in here? No. A spider, 2 spiders and a zombie? What is this, a D&D encounter? And a creeper? What fool didn't light this whole place up? Okay, fine. Be that way. Make me rebuild the hill. No, no. This is fine. Everything is fine. You know what I should be doing? Because it's a thing that this mod allows for. Letting my Pokemon handle this. Oh, except maybe not my level 1 Snorunt. I got that in a trade off camera. Well, at my crossbow. What's that? Is that something they added for Bedrock? I'm joking here. I know what a crossbow is in Minecraft. I have one. I just never use it. Was it invented after 2013? Then I probably won't use it in Minecraft. My 2 large idiots. What should build next? Poke Center or garden? They tied. This is a terrible fate. Well, I guess I'm building a Poké Center with a garden. Wait, I'm having ideas. What are you doing? What are you people doing down here? How did you get down here? This is a sealed area. Sir, you are being evicted. This is why we need ranked choice voting. This isn't a democracy. This is a Twitch stream. I am using landlord language. It's my stream. And I will... Oh, dear. I will evict these Endermen. Oh, dear. No! Okay, fortunately, this is the backside of the crypt. So, everything is fine. Ow. Excuse me. No, sir. You cannot live... You cannot live here anymore. You especially cannot live here anymore. You were the problem child. So rude. Go, Durant. Take care of that. Another father joke. For some reason, my brain is trying to come up with one surrounding the idea of layaway. So I'll have to come back to that one later. Stealth father joke. I'll give you a real father joke as well. Two hats are in a hat stand. One says to the other, you stay here, I'll go on ahead. This isn't a father joke, but it's classic. Tray of muffins are in the oven. One muffin turns to the other and says, boy, is it hot in here? And the other muffin goes, ah, a talking muffin! That counts? That's not a dad joke. It's just bad. First use that joke in German. I find that hard to believe. Because the Germans are humorless. That's not true. Germans love wordplay. Look at the tongue twister of Oberammergau, Unterammergau. Okay, I think that should be... better lit up enough. If they're human, so they have 100 plus letter words. Because they're efficient. And we have a Roadsta. John 3:16 today. In our gospel, God so loved the world, he sent his only begotten son. That concept of only begotten is a really interesting one. You know, we say it every Sunday in the Creed, and there's a lot to unpack there. And in many ways, it remains mystery, and so we'll never fully understand it. But it's the way in which Christ, as the second person of the Blessed Trinity, without beginning or end, is still son of the Father. And what that sonship means and everything. And a lot of the early patristics wrote about it in a way of like thinking about sort of a fountain or something sort of eternally flowing. Okay, that should solve our Enderman issues for the most part. So, let's talk Poke Center and garden, because I think since we'll have a Poke Center with like a garden courtyard, I think. Ooh, what if we made it, instead of like a courtyard in the front, what if we made it like a square building with a courtyard in the middle? That was all grassy and flowers and stuff. I'm cooking here, chat. But we have to talk architecture. So, like, what style do we want it to be? We're going to make a stop at Hal's old place to look for this herb. Okay, so Hal's old place. I think if I go to St. Petersburg, it should be. Yeah, there it is. Meetings. Well, I hope you have fun. We'll keep track of the father jokes. Don't worry, father jokes aren't going anywhere. They are a staple of this channel. Never mind. Man, and Hal's just abandoned this. He built all this and then was like, nah, I need to go somewhere else. Berries, berries, berries. Bree! Hello! We are doing Cobblemon. Father joke. Now this will be what? 5? I think this is number 5. We're counting how many father jokes I do today. I need to write a letter, and I need to write it quick, but the problem is I'm all out of paper. And I need to rush and make it to the store, but you know I'm worried they might close. And my friend said to me, "What are you worried about? It's a stationery store." Ah, Vivichoke. I believe that is what I'm looking for. Yes. Oh, I'm stealing some Vivichokes. Thank you, bye. Har! Har! Wait, you don't like that one, Mel? Well, Bree liked it. Then it was her father joke, so... Why is Dinnerbone upset? You know what? I decided to not ask questions after all. You miss Cobblemon? Well, come back to Cobblemon. Judy, hello! Mathon keeps asking your favorite priest. Aw, well, I'm doing well. I'm gonna mail you a letter if you liked it or not. It's like that time I mailed a letter to Peter and Yenza. And it had a piece of paper in it that said, "This letter brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends." Which was, for a while, framed in their house. Guys, a lot of no-nos here. But Bree, yeah, you should just come back to Cobblemon. It's still here. The server has not disappeared. Oh, I lost my helmet in one of those explosions. These things happen. Okay, so let's now talk location. What? Nick? What? I've never heard of this Pokemon. It's not real. We have a pretty large stretch of land, flat land here we could work with. Like, I don't need the Pokemon. The Pokemon Center does not need to be as big as the Cathedral, that's for darn sure. How can you stream? First you pick up your provider, and then you subscribe. You have access to the whole library. Inquire and see our competitive pricing options. Finally! Thank you, Peter. I was lost without that. Also, did you know about Evan Perp before this morning? I'm honestly surprised if you hadn't heard of him. Like, I know you're not a big Fortnite person, but he's partnered. And Kit has redeemed a father joke. So I was thinking about my trip, and yeah, it was wonderful, you know, great Caribbean weather, beautiful sunny skies. But I was thinking, man, what if I went on a ski trip? And I thought about it, I'm like, man, it would start off great, but it'd be all downhill from there. You had heard of him, but didn't really know him. Yeah, he was just on my random recommendations on the app, and I was like, I was just Evan Perp and playing Fortnite. I'm like, well, I'm not really a huge Fortnite person, but he's got my name. It's cool. So I look him up, and like first thing I see is Catholic. I'm like, well, time to go support him. It's not all downhill. What about the gondola? Yeah. But then you're back downhill again. It's full of ups and downs. We're canonically obligated, indeed. I need a little more dirt. So, what kind of design do we want for this Poké Center / garden? I'm thinking the center courtyard garden will primarily be berries, because I think that's just very fitting for a Poké Center. But like architecturally, what do we want it to look like? And I'm automatically vetoing brutalism, because I don't like brutalism, except in very particular cases. Like, I guess leaning into the mountainous area, we could try to make it kind of look Alpine Lodge-ish. Deep foggy glass bit for some reason. Ooh. We could do that. That fits with Alpine Lodge, actually. So Alpine Lodge is going to be fairly wood-based. So what kind of wood do we want to use? Probably a mix of things. Probably something similar to the library, an idea, but not like design. Because when I think Alpine Ski Lodge, I also think very, like, pointy. Clutch! Good to see you. How you been? Happy Easter. Victorian? Victorian. I do like Victorian architecture, but I think that may be too similar to the library. Let's prep for the baby. Wait, okay, first of all, didn't know you and your wife were expecting. That's awesome. Congratulations. Hey, dear Hope. I do appear out of the woodwork. It's good to be back. Doing pretty good. Figuring out how we want to... Let's take a look at... what kind of wood options we have. Planks. You can't see some of this, but classic oak, plank, jungle, acacia. Maple might be nice. Maple's kind of like a pale brown. SpaceX lands on Mars, Orlando will no longer be the biggest diocese. I guess. Ooh, what about Furplank? What does that look like? Furplank's... Okay, so I'm thinking maybe Furplank for the roofing. That looks very alpine, like that. This line right here. But for the body, maybe maple. So you can kind of see what that looks like here. So the question is, where is it? So maple and fir. Well, coniferous forest feels like a good place to find fir. Black forest for maple? What do you mean the biome name is Shield? So let's go check some of this out. Now, fortunately, I don't need, like, a ton, although... I'm gonna make another axe, because this axe is almost gone. Mountains are another place I think of for looking for fir trees. But I don't entirely know what this mod pack has in store when it comes to those sort of things. What do you mean acacia? That is not acacia. Pine. Fir. There we go. We got some saplings, so that's all we'll need for now. To get this started. So now we have to find maple. And, like, I know what a maple tree looks like in real life, but I don't know what it looks like in Minecraft. Like, the iconic leaf is going to be a little harder to define here. However, these red leaves seem promising. Maple! Hey, that was easy. Oh, look, there's the iconic leaf in Minecraft. Oh. go Canada. May pull what? 6 pulls from my booster packs. That's how I'm gonna fund my retirement. Do I think I'll ever play Arc Raiders? Probably not. I've watched some gameplay and I go, oh, that's interesting. That's about it. I was thinking about giving up gambling, but you convinced me to stick with it. That's the attitude. It's not this hand that's making you lose. It's the next one that you're not playing. Anyway, I'll be sending an apology letter to Yenza. You miss out on 100% of the packs you don't open. Exactly. That one could have the autographed Billy Mays card. I don't know what booster pack you're buying that has Billy Mays as a card, but... Billy Mays TCG. I think it would be more like a, as seen on TV TCG. As seen on TCG. Dwarf Fortress Secret Lair. Huh. Also, Gale, we got to 6 jokes. What pray tell is in a Dwarf Fortress Secret Lair? Like, how can you compress an algorithm to a card? Peter should play Dwarf Fortress. It seems like your kind of thing. What am I looking for? Okay, so that's how you plant it. Billy Fuccio. Name sounds familiar. You've forgotten how to play at this point? Oh, that could be fixed. There are Wikipedia pages for that. Okay, so let's think about how big we want. I'm going to use dirt to block this out for now. Oh, then I probably definitely heard his voice. So I just had a thought. So, Alpine Ski Lodge is the theme we're going for here with a courtyard. Alpine Ski Lodges have sort of very tall, triangular roofs. What if we mirrored that as the footprint? So we had like the actual main part of the Poké Center be the base, and we have 2 walls protecting the courtyard. Like, am I losing it or am I cooking? I don't know. I might be both. Skee-Ball Lodge. Could be fun. Then emote with sharks? Laser sharks. Naturally. Cooking? Oh, yeah. If I'm cooking, pass me the toothpaste. I need it for seasoning. I apologize, that was deeply unhinged. Include avalanche fences. I'm gonna have to look up what those are in particular, because I have like a general concept of what it is in mind, but what it looks like. Just block that off right there for now. Looks like a fence that's set out to a 45-degree angle. I will have to look at what resources I even have that might make that possible. It's like, what if this was... This feels like a decently sized courtyard. I'm sure I have seen them, especially having been in Wyoming. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you don't necessarily have a name to it, you don't know what it looks like. Father only has 44 degrees. No, I actually only have 3. Okay, so we want to use maple planks. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of SnowRunt. Who, we're going to have to get a pasture block so SnowRunt can be running around in here. Nope. Right. That doesn't work that way. Ultra rare ditto. Ultra rare ditto. See, that was a bad joke. Maybe fill the moat with Pokemon's closest to a laser shark. Well, I guess there are shark Pokemon. Is there a laser Pokemon? Okay, so hear me out. We'll have a fountain that starts here and pours out into the... So what if we had a fountain that started... We'll have like a block there with the water, pours out there, pours into here. And fills this little basin, and we can put something nice here. That way there's like a nice little quiet area in the courtyard. I was beginning to wonder if you would grow, and look! And the maple's growing, that's good. Now, fortunately, we can make a flag that has a Pokeball on it. It's a pretty easy thing to do, even in vanilla Minecraft. That way, when folks come to visit Major Oshibkashneg, because that is my character's name in this. Definitely want kind of a, at least something of a foundation so it's not walled right onto cliff. Okay, so we do this. We'll have a door there. I'm thinking mostly glass here to see into the courtyard from the Poke Center. Have you ever told you your streams are great to work lurk to? No, maybe, I don't know, but thank you. Well, you don't stream during business hours anymore, Peter. But your streams are also good to work lurk too. Okay, so things we're going to need in the Focus Center. A computer area and a... I was just trying to think, what if we built a second wall so there's like a passageway? Because what if we built rooms? Lent was... Oh, did you give up Twitch for Lent? I could see that being hard. So things we'll need. A desk where you can go and talk to Nurse Joy, because it is always Nurse Joy. And a desk where you can go and access the computer. The computer's easier to make, but we have everything we need. All your streamers gave up streaming for Lent. Oh no, I didn't. Wait, does that mean I'm not one of your favorite streamers? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. And I see you streamed then. Well, I didn't stream for the last 2 weeks because I was away on vacation, but I was streaming all through Lent. Brayherd, I don't know if you're telling the truth or just making that up, and quite frankly, either option is terrifying. Anyway, look, we have a little desk. We can put the focus healing thing there so the nurse can walk around to the whole counter and be like, hello. And then we have the computer set up so you can be like, oh, someone's on the computer. I will wait in line. Give me that one up. Okay. You forgore? That's also valid. I forgore lots of things. Now, how... I guess this is probably as wide as we really want it, or need it to be. Why did I put my bed so far away? You got ashes at the start of Lent? I'm trying to make a joke and it's just nothing. Nothing's really coalescing. It really does look like a snow runt. That's it. It's gonna be called the Snow Runt Lodge. It's hard to make ashes coalesce. That's why they put oil in. Okay, so here's kind of what I'm thinking is like... Oh, you know what? No. One of these will be the nurse station. Where do we put the computer then? I guess I could actually make a bank of computers. Or put like a computer there and a computer there. Because I'm thinking like, what if this was like the hotel? My, what oil you have, the better to coalesce with, my dear. Anyway, I'm thinking this could be the hotel check-in. And what I'm going to do is we could build like essentially So you're going to come down the creepy murder hallway. This actually needs to be one more over. And there'll be a hallway here. What are you doing here? How did you spawn? And then we'll have like little chalet rooms on this side. I need all of these large lads to go after this creeper. Where did that creeper go? There it is. Thank you. Log. Because if we had done this one over, it would have completely blocked up the whole hallway and just wouldn't work. Then yeah, we can put in little rooms in this chalet. So how big would we want these rooms to be? I'm thinking we build a room with occupancy for 2. With a bathroom at the end of the hall, because this is a hostel. So how many of these units do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 20 blocks. Made each room with a floor plan of 5 wide. We could do 4 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Okay, that's how many we'll do. That actually works out nicely in a repeating pattern. Okay, so we only have 3 rooms. Yeah, one and only. Thank you for the lurk. God bless you too. You know, this grew from being a from a Poke Center to a Poke Center with a garden to a Poke Center with a garden with a hotel. Scope creep. No, go away. I'm busy building. Why is there a crafting table down there? Who's been around here? Make a couple more shovels. I'm gonna move the bed over to closer to this, but I'm not gonna move the storage quite yet, he said before just creating more storage. Oh, there's your hive. I was like, why are there so many combies just chilling here? I wonder if combies get mad if you take their honey. Well, I need some honey anyway, so... I thought you used... Oh, it's regular glass, not panes. That was the shortest all-hands meeting of your life. That sounds like it was very quick. That sounds like it could have been an email. Also, I'm happy to hear that work is moving away from the slop, so... Okay, combies do not get mad like regular bees. That is good to know. They just know it's bad. Okay, well, it's a step in a direction, I guess. They want you to fix it. Well, there's a solution. Hey, Mithril. Okay, so this room... 1, 2, 3... Is that how I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 5 from the door. So 1, 2, 3, 5. That isn't in line with company vision. That, right. That company vision is profits. Thank you for coming for all hands meeting. We have an important update regarding our communication. We'll now replace all hands meeting with emails. Thank you for your time. Where are these creepers coming from? No deck, no video, everyone remote was very, very confused. I think I'd be confused if I was there in person. And cold. Okay, so that thing I said I wasn't gonna do, I'm totally doing. Not really, I'm gonna go put some stuff away. What's organization anymore? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They just had the meeting outside, so there was no deck and no video. Oh, I regret that. I thought that was a new post. My bad. It still just seems like an odd decision, but what do I know? I'm not John Business. Brand new chat! Thank you. Thank you for the engagement. It's that kind of engagement at TM that helps us grow here at Business TM. Okay. There we go. So we have our little rooms. Actually, I won't quite place the second layer here yet, because we'll probably want some windows in the living area. However, this wall I can absolutely build up. Now we need to think about flooring as well. So definitely the courtyard grass. But what about indoors? I'm thinking with the whole Alpine Lodge thing, probably more wood would be good. So what kind of wood do we want? Probably something dark, like dark oak. Ooh, I like the maple door. Look at this. Look at that door. It's a good-looking door. So I have glass here so we can see into the courtyard. So revival, herb, and how do I make a revive? Oh, I have to make it in a campfire pot. Okay, how do I make a campfire pot? Okay, what? Yeah. Okay, that's. Why did I make so much blue glass? I don't need that much blue glass. Okay, so I can either... Oh, hey, I have a spare bed. I'll just leave a bed over here. Let's drop off a bunch of this stuff that we don't actively need. And how do I make a computer again? Oh, no, it's called PC, not computer. Okay. So smooth stone. I have lots of smooth stone, fortunately, so I can make those pretty quickly. I just need the glass. But I want to make this campfire pot because it sounds useful. So I need lots of copper, which fortunately I have. Sure, green apricorn berries, that's fine. Can make a green one. How do I actually make a campfire? I don't remember. Right. logs, sticks, and coal. Do I have a piece of coal? Wait, no, I've got some stoves over here. Meep mess, it's purple. It's late. You got purple again, but this time it's wrong. He is our rising sun. Oh no, my shoes! I mean, it was impressive when you got purple so many times in a row in Lent. But getting purple again now, it's yeah, 4 in a row is still actually, mathematically, the odds are very good. Okay. So I need the honey and a revival herb. Oh, I need heal powder. Sure. That seems arbitrary. Tell you what, chat. I need a quick bathroom break. So we're gonna just take a quick commercial break. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back, I promise. So see you real soon. Get a chance to get up, stretch your legs, get a drink of water, do what you need to do. We'll be right back. Anyone else ready for a nap? Always. That sentence doesn't mean much for me, unfortunately. That's always true. Counterpoint, you're actually baby. Okay, let's go get some sand. Oh, look at the Taro spin! Fish! Today's fish is trout a la creme. I'm hungry again! Ah. Oh. It's unfortunate that there's no more candy spins today, then. Stress eating mood. What are you trying to fish for here, Peter? Compliments? Spin the wheel, I'll eat the closest thing to that candy I have. That's dangerous because that could just mean eating a stick of cinnamon. Sempre, I have an emote for that. Compliment with an E, please. I think her name is Yenza. She is your compliment. GCWP. She has been unlocked. Behold, the brain cell. I love that emote, and it was surprisingly simple to make. I literally just made it in Canva, and I pulled up clip art of a brain cell, and there was that colorful green and yellow with a little bit of red one. And then I found googly eyes, and I'm like, haha, googly eyes on brain cell. I think that is my personal favorite emote of my channel. My second favorite is Flabbergasted, partially because of the name, and also because it is a great expression that Gale captured and instantly threw me under the bus with. It was like, hey, you should make this an emote. Which, to be fair, I did not have to do, but Gale was right. And that came from troubleshooting tech issues. There it is! Extra big. Gale's often right. He is the voice of a generation. No, I said so. You said it publicly in a public space that has recording. Fortunately, my chat does not show up on my screen. That's a... That is a personal choice. I thought about it, but I'm like, no, I actually prefer not. Now, one of the problems is I just took all the coal out of those kilns to make the torches. Live footage, Father Evan trying Linux. I've already tried Linux. Multiple times. I technically built a computer on a Raspberry Pi that runs on Linux. Was that your reaction? No, I used Ubuntu. It was pretty easy, actually. This is back in college, too. But then there's a main version of Linux that runs for Raspberry Pis. I forget what it's called. Pi something. So that's what I have. In fact, I think. Yeah! Check it out. Little thing you can see. Whoop, there goes its back. You can see some of the internals. I actually stripped out one of the power switches for a different project because I never actually used this thing. Because I thought, when I built this, I thought it had a touchscreen because I was trying to build a tablet. I learned this is not a touchscreen, and I've never bothered replacing it. That was in 2017. It's been a while. I should probably be concerned about these batteries in here, but... Oh my gosh, they're genuine puck cells! Yeah, one of my random things I enjoy doing is electronics work. I don't do a ton of it. I'd actually like more time to do more of it, but oh well. Father is talking like he knows something. Don't make me get the mug. I know why I'm hungry. I've only eaten bread today. Roxy. Roxy. Please eat something more than just bread. Electronics are fun to tinker with. And they only occasionally go poorly. Such as, I have a Tron disc that I've been tinkering with. And for whatever reason, I have burned out a control unit twice on it. And I think I kind of need to restart from scratch on some of the wiring, unfortunately. And I just haven't had the time, energy, or money to do that. It was a croissant. I don't think that's enough, Roxy. Full graham cracker. Yeah, you need some protein. Please go find something good to eat, or like something like a fruit or a vegetable. Mr. Father Evan, have you hydrated today? I have. I have, in fact, hydrated quite a bit. Time for protein packs. No. Oh, wait. Just eat a spoonful of peanut butter. That's a good plan. Dang it. Now I just want a spoonful of peanut butter. Roxy! Please. Did you guys make me more honey yet? No? Okay. Okay, so I need coal. Let's go into some mines. I'm having a day. Sounds like you're having a day TM. I'm sorry. I hope it's less of a day as the day goes on. And hopefully you will have a nice evening with Gale and the mouse. Spoonful of peanut butter makes it... What are you doing up there, spider? You don't even fit in here, Avalug. Avalug doesn't even go to this school. Okay, well, I guess I'm going into my normal mines. I was hoping that that might have something, but... And again, what if we just scoured the mountainside? Surely there's naturally occurring coal patches along here, right? I'm seeing iron. Oh, there's an emerald around here. Coal. Ooh, there's a bunch of coal. There's a bunch of coal. I wish I could get Flight of the Bumblebee to play every time I was riding on my Heracross. I think that would be funny. Just hire an intern. We have interns. They actually do important work. If you know a college student who's interested in working in Catholic media, I think we actually have our positions filled for the spring semester, or for the summer semester. Beware, beware of soft snow. Make me. Fight of the Bumblebee is important work. Yeah, I don't think my editor-in-chief would see it that way. Just tell her you're making content. Again. I like Jen. I don't particularly want to bring that to her in a meeting and be like, hey, an intern should be playing Flight of the Bumblebee, because, no. Hey, Chorus. Okay, now we have to start thinking about how we ski lodge this area. So, tall roof? Maybe that's where I start to use the fir logs for. Put on a Stream Deck solution. Or wait! This is the solution. Uh-oh. Yeah, if words are hard. We're working on an alpine ski lodge designed Poke Center. So we have the outline here. So we'll have this courtyard be a berry garden. The Poke Center will be in here with the nurse station and the healing thing here. And it has a small scope creep. It's kind of grown. There's the hotel desk check-in here. So when you come over this way, there are 3 hotel rooms available. Just tell chat that every time you start flight, they have to turn on Flight of the Bumblebee at home. Chat, I'm giving you homework. Brain, what was I gonna do next? Okay, so we want something. I already have homework. Well, never said you had to do it. I just said I'm giving it to you. You can say stream is chat integrated. In one of the weirdest and worst ways. We might check out this old growth spruce taiga. No, that's all spruce. What am I thinking? Because what I'm looking for is dark oak. You feed the homework to your dog? I don't know if you should feed musical score to your dog, but I won't stop you. Quesadilla. Yay, mood is improving. Old growth woodland. That I'm seeing if there's, because like a normal non-modded would have like a dark forest. Definitely don't feed bees to your dog. Bees! Speaking of bees, bees! Mr. Father Heaven Flame says hi. Well, hi, Mr. Flame. Hey, Stella. Benui Benui. Hoy! No, that's Breeze Line. You have a tornado watch? That's exciting. How are baby bees made? Okay, so a really cool thing about the family of Hymenoptera, which is what has bees, ants, wasps, all that, is that they differentiate sex based on being haploid or diploid, meaning how many sets of genes they have. So females are born haploidic, meaning they only have one set of genes. For reference, human beings are naturally diploidic. So we have two sets of all of our genes. Only males are diploidic, which means that a queen deprived of any male could still make workers for her colony, and this is why it's very normal that all the workers are female. Cool, fun science fact. P. Tony quote 1475. Why did they get more pairs of genes? Because of the way that gametes are made. You need generally diploids to make them, and it helps the genetic pool. Father Evan, it's been 3,000 years! Well, I thought it was only like 2 weeks, but it's good to see you. Ow! Bees are cool and weird. I took a course on insects in college. I can't remember what the study of insects is all of a sudden. But anyway, the professor for that class was A, really cool, and B, he was like a specialist in ants. So we got to learn all sorts of cool facts. The bee war. It was a tough but appropriate and measured response to the V movie. How do I make them less? The rain is driving them into your house. Oh, big steppy? Peppermint. Peppermint actually keeps them away. They do not like the smell of peppermint. Eat them. They are a source of protein. This is an option. A great trap. And lo, the ants did speak of the great trap. How'd your interview go, by the way, JM? I hope it went well. Put down some tarot baits. That's also good. I assume all animals in Florida are kind of extra. Anyway, well, yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Stella. Yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. Our little country church. You have an interview tomorrow. Hey! Paper cut, but so don't know if you'd offer, but the interview practice should be good. Hey, that's still good. And like, congrats. Like, mentally, that's probably a really good thing to be like, yeah, I got an interview. So that's awesome. In person, weird. Little country church with flying buttresses. Exactly. So anyway, now we have... Ooh, but what if we did... Okay, so we could do planks. But what if... We could do that, or... New Yorkers have no perspective. Look, when our church was founded, when the parish was founded, this was country. This was farmland. Anyway, which may as well make... Which of these three do you prefer for the flooring? I'm kind of leaning towards the just regular log. I think it differentiates because I think just using planks, it's the same texture, just different color. And the stripped just looks a little too plain. I live in the country. I'm down the street from the vet. No, I don't see any. I didn't say it is country now. Also, to be fair, this is our little country church here because what else do you see? You have a reco for a raid? All right. What is it? No promises. It is about time to wrap up, actually. Yeah, Peter only has track of 3 categories. Family, New Yorkers, everyone else. Yeah, I think that's going to be the way to go. Which means it's going to take more resources, but... How'd you know? Well, I've known you for like 2 years now, which is wild. Lurk, hey, take care, Bacon. Hope you have a good dinner. Hope it has bacon. Or is that weird? It was interesting because I'm working in the church, but interviewing for the extra position. So, and talking about, we were going through hypotheticals, but already know the parish dynamics. Yeah. Internal interviews are interesting that way. Because they can be like, so what would you envision us doing in this business? It's like, well, I'd be envisioning what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna pass. Especially because he's not streaming right now. But we do need to call it there. So. They have to be fair. Yeah, no, for sure. That's, I mean, legally and just sort of from a matter of perspective, justice, that is appropriate to what they need to do. But yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in to Let's Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. It's been good to be back. Join us again tomorrow. We're going to be playing Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow. Yes, sir, Roxy, thank you for getting some water and some real food. Monday, Kingdom Hearts 3. Tuesday, I'm so excited about this chat. I just got it installed today. I'm excited. Wednesday, more Minecraft, and then, yep. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Epic. Powerful biblical verses. Okay, wait until you see the graphics. It looks like WoW, like early WoW. I was playing a little. There was a part that I just lost it, and it's amazing. And I don't want to spoil it. So anyway, we'll be checking that out. But anyway, that's everything. So thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. So thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's see who's live that we can raid into. I'm going to go send you over to Gibbet the Frog. He's a cool dude. He's a friend of Cal Mage's. He's playing the latest... Oh, no, he's playing Resident Evil 4. Not the latest Resident Evil. Different Resident Evil. But he's an entertaining guy, so go give him some love. And pray for him as he is discerning becoming Catholic, which is exciting. So hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.